scare the living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
What happens when Gatorade tries to ride the Caitlin Clark hype train, but forgets who's actually driving it? You get a full-blown PR meltdown. Now with added electrolytes, the WNBA thought they were serving up a marketing slam dunk. Instead, straight airball right into a raging dumpster fire. And wait until you hear what the fans really have to say. Let's just say the Indiana Fever front office might want to grab a chair before reading this poll. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just secured a cool $660,000 like it's loose change in her gym bag. Buckle up, this one's wild.
Caitlin Clark meant to the WNBA?
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
She meant everything. I never watched it before.
If she leaves the Fever, I'm out too. That's no longer just a quiet opinion, it's the loudest chant in the room. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the WNBA, she is the wamba for a whole new wave of fans who didn't even know Indiana had a team 6 months ago. At this rate, the Fever might want to start looking into legal counsel, because if this all goes south, Caitlin's taking half the fan base with her in the split.
Example, and there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed is far and away leading.
And these aren't just casual fans we're talking about. These are diehards, converted, baptized, and fully devoted members of the Church of Caitlin. They don't care about city limits or team colors. To them, Caitlin is the brand. Her jersey isn't just a uniform, it's a GPS signal. Wherever she goes, they follow. The loyalty, it's not to Indiana, it's to her. No shade to the rest of the roster, they've earned respect. But make no mistake, this fan base was built on Clark's name, and it moves when she does.
All for letting her cook. Me dinner.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on like women shouldn't? No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women. She just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room. Look, I'm a big advocate of.
But when the lights dim and it's time to pick a side between a franchise and the phenom who made you care in the first place, there's really no question. It's Caitlin Clark or nothing. And right now, Fever fans are sweating because it's starting to look like nothing. Not because Caitlin's underperforming, far from it. She's doing exactly what she was brought in to do: put butts in seats, spike TV ratings, pack arenas, and inject real energy into a franchise that was barely treading water. The real issue, the one person who doesn't seem to see it might be the one calling the plays, her coach.
Oh boy. Listen, NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years and it lost money, and I got about 6 months left in the investment, and in the last 6 months they started making cash, I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago. It's about current momentum.
Somehow, The game plan feels less like build around your superstar and more like maybe next quarter, and that'd be funny if the team wasn't getting blown out every other night. They're not just losing, they're losing. Ugly, but come post game, it's the same broken record. One player shoots 2 for 14 and the coach shrugs, keep shooting, honey. They'll fall eventually. Caitlyn takes one tough shot in crunch time, boom. Instant lecture. It's not just inconsistent, it's starting to feel like performance art. And fans, they're not clueless. They see what's going on. They're not here to watch the slow, painful sabotage of the one player who got them to care in the first place. The message couldn't be louder. If Caitlyn walks, we walk.
Caitlyn Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. I think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
This isn't just fandom anymore, it's migration. And Caitlyn Clark, she's the monarch butterfly. These fans aren't rocking Fever gear because they bleed red and navy, they're carrying portable loyalty. And they don't care where she lands. New York, Vegas, or the Bermuda Triangle, they're going with her. She could play for a team called the Toilet Paper Tornadoes, and they'd still be courtside in full force. Because this isn't a phase, it's a full-blown movement. And Indiana's front office should be terrified. Here's the truth, these fans aren't being dramatic, they're being honest. Caitlyn is the reason they tuned in. It wasn't the WNBA's marketing campaigns or social media edits. It was one sharpshooting kid from Iowa with Steph Curry range, generational vision, and the charisma of a late-night host. She turned women's basketball into must-see TV. And choosing to sideline that, it's like striking gold and then bulldozing it to build a strip mall. Absolutely senseless, and now the investors, aka the fans, are furious. Yes, they love the rest of the squad. No one's trying to erase them. But make no mistake, Caitlyn Clark is the engine. Without her, this whole ride stops.
So the t-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlyn Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
And here's the worst part, it's starting to feel intentional. Like there's some behind-the-scenes logic that says, keep the rookie in check. Don't let her shine too bright. Prioritize veteran touches even if their shooting numbers look more like lottery odds than actual stats. Meanwhile, fans are losing it. They're shouting, just let her cook. But every time Caitlyn starts heating up, someone yanks the pan off the stove. And when you throw in the stiff body language, awkward pressers, and bizarre late-game decisions, the mood shifts. Clark's fanbase isn't just loyal anymore, they're angry. They feel duped. You can't slap her face on every brand from Gatorade to garden hoses, sell her as the future of the league, and then treat her like a glorified decoy once the ball tips. That's not a strategy, that's a slow-motion implosion. So, what happens if she leaves? Simple, the WNBA faces its biggest fan drop-off since the birth of binge-watching. One day, it's sold-out crowds and record-breaking streams. The next, crickets and American Ninja Warrior reruns outdrawing live games.
Age 23. I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlyn Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on the line.
And don't think this is all talk, these fans aren't bluffing. They're already making moves. Group chats are buzzing. Spreadsheets are circulating. Some have Zillow tabs open in Phoenix. Others are studying Vegas zip codes like it's a final exam. Watch parties are being planned in cities she doesn't even play in yet, just in case a trade goes down. Because these fans, they're not loyal to a logo, they're loyal to a legacy. They didn't fall in love with Indiana basketball. Most didn't even know what a fever was 6 months ago. This isn't fandom. This is a full-blown hostage crisis. Fever management had one job: don't mess this up. And yet here we are watching them fumble the only thing that's actually working. Caitlin Clark fans didn't show up in record numbers just to watch her reduced to a glorified ball shuttler. And when they say, if she leaves, we leave, believe them, because to them, Caitlin isn't just a player. She's the product, the heart of the operation. The entire WNBA ecosystem right now orbits around her. Take her out of Indiana, that team fades back into obscurity. Drop her anywhere else, that city becomes the new capital of women's basketball.
And I think it's like something where if you are a star in the WNBA, like Caitlin Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlin Clark. Yeah. She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't understand because they're already rev sharing. The NBA already gives them money, compensates for the loss they make every year because they lose 50.
This isn't emotion, it's realism. These fans don't owe the Fever anything. They showed up for Caitlin. They stayed because of Caitlin. And if things keep heading in this direction, they'll leave with her, too. The message is simple: stop treating her like a background character in someone else's drama. Because if Caitlin walks, this isn't just another trade. It's an extinction-level event. And this time, it won't be a fever dream, it'll be a full-blown nightmare. Right now, it feels like Stephanie White's coaching approach isn't develop your superstar, it's micromanage her into invisibility, and at this point, that's not a hidden message, it's practically spelled out in blinking Morse code at every press conference. Caitlin Clark was never her pick, and it shows. Sure, she smiled for the cameras and gave all the right sound bites about adapting the system, but now that the season's underway, it's starting to look a lot like an attempt to mold Caitlin into a quiet, deferential, don't-rock-the-boat role player, just the kind the old guard can tolerate.
Female bird. She had Van Slugenhagen on her. She was like, I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me, and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot, always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off, he's gonna shoot a deep-ass 3 to 4.
Here's the kicker: Caitlin Clark was never meant to ride in the back seat. She's not some accessory to a dusty playbook held together by gum, vibes, and outdated ideas. She's the engine, the GPS, the Spotify playlist, and the reason the whole thing even got on the road in the first place. But game after game, it feels like Stephanie White is handing out emotional speed bumps and calling U-turns like she's directing traffic instead of running an offense. And at this point, it's not just a philosophical clash, it's personal. The vibe, like someone was forced to host a dinner party for a guest corporate dropped in unexpectedly, except this guest is paying the rent, cooking 5-star meals, cleaning up the mess, and still being told to just pass the salt. Let's stop pretending this is resistance. From the very beginning, Stephanie White has seemed to grit her teeth through the Caitlin Clark era. All that early talk about embracing her style, vapor, empty promises. Instead, we've watched offensive schemes where Clark gets parked in a corner while teammates fire up bricks like they're trying to build a Wamba-themed Olive Garden. Endless breadsticks, no buckets. And when Caitlin still manages to claw her way to 23 points, 15 assists, and a few viral clips while dodging elbows and questionable officiating. Crickets. No celebration. No recognition. Just another tight-lipped post-game breakdown about spacing and letting the game come to us.
WNBA before Caitlin Clark and the WNBA after Caitlin Clark. Describe these two worlds.
Oh, entirely different. 180, you know. The WNBA before started in 1997, the year after the Atlanta Olympics, and was launched into a time when women's sports was still not taken seriously by a lot of, people. Some of those same guys now, if we want to talk about before and after, some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark and the spotlight that is finally shining on these players.
The signs couldn't be clearer. The fans are yelling it. The game is screaming it. The entire basketball world is practically shouting, recalculate, let her cook, turn around. Caitlin Clark has fans in every state, every time zone, and every tax bracket. From middle schoolers to 80-year-old hoop lifers, from casual viewers to obsessive diehards, even folks who still think the WNBA plays on a 9-foot hoop. She's not just a player, she's a phenomenon, a walking brand, a revolution in sneakers. She's the WNBA's golden goose, laying media engagement eggs faster than the league can monetize them. If the marketing team had their way, she'd be live streaming her breakfast and stretching routines in real time. And yet, on the court, you'd think she was a second-round benchwarmer with the way she's being used, underutilized, underpraised, and often just there. And somehow, we're all supposed to pretend like that's normal? Please.